Hey, I'm Dustin.
I'm Teppei.
We are in the band Thrice, and we're going to do a track-by-track commentary for our new record, Palms. So we're going to start off with the first song. It's called Only Us, and yeah, it's kind of a interesting start to the record for us. We're a pretty guitar-driven band, but it starts off with a synthesizer. Yeah, I think my initial demo, I was just screwing around with the synthesizer and started singing a melody over it. And I thought we'd probably take it on a guitar or something, but we ended up keeping it.
Mm-hmm.
What do you have to say about it?
I'm trying to think. I do. That song is kind of mostly a mashup of, I think, two ideas.
Oh, yeah.
One, which was that original synthesizer part, and then another part, once everything kicks in, was a separate idea that I had written on the plane. I remember this. We were on the plane flying back from somewhere. I have no idea where. And I was just on my computer, just kind of messing around and trying to kill time, and ended up coming up with that little
that riff,
that little ditty.
And it was a while into writing, and I suddenly realized, like, oh my gosh, I think they were already in the same key. They were in like the same time signature, same tempo.
Yeah.
And I was just like, these are made to be together.
It works great.
But yeah, the song's about kind of about this idea of seeing the whole world as your tribe. That there's the lines that we have dividing us are arbitrary and unnecessary. Second song is The Gray. So Gray was the first song we put out on this record. Teppei's guitar riff that starts with is definitely kind of the anchor of the song. We didn't know where to go with it for a long time. Finally kind of came together. I wrote two choruses that were totally different, and one of them ended up being the chorus, and one ended up being what's now the pre-chorus. Yeah, I think it's a good look at kind of my personal kind of inner journey as I was writing the record, and also in the kind of 2 years coming up to it. But just dealing with this idea of setting aside certain rigid certainties in favor of kind of embracing the contextual complexity of the world around you, and doing that so that you can more effectively and easily have compassion for yourself and others. So.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah. The Dark. Teppei, start us off.
Come on. I gotta think about what song.
Oh yeah, you made the song happen. I had a file.
I still don't know what song this is. Oh, okay, sorry.
Yeah, he's getting used to the real names now.
Yeah, we have fake titles, and that's what's my brain still calls it, the fake titles, not the real titles. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I had this guitar little line. It was called Following originally because it was just stepping up, but I had a delay on, so every other note, the first note would repeat and be a harmony to itself. And I liked it, but I didn't know where to go with it. And then I had a totally separate idea, and I thought that they could go together, but I had kind of given up on it. And then Teppei made a demo of it with the drums and bass and kind of the main idea of like the approach that it has now. Why did you do that, Teppei?
I don't know. I just kind of I heard that Dustin just had that really simple repeating guitar line, and I just kind of heard these big, heavy kind of drum and bass hits that go over it, and so yeah, I just kind of demoed it. I think we were in Canada, actually, when I tracked that, and that ended up pretty much being as is and on the record. And then that matched up with the chorus is something Riley had. Yeah.
The chorus, I made the bass line while I was at my daughter's gymnastics practice, and then I took Riley's. He had that kind of spooky key thing, and put it over that, and it worked really good. And then the cool thing about that song ends with a ton of people singing together. It was over 1,000 people that we sent out a request to record themselves singing. Well, we sent it out to whoever wanted to do it, but we got over 1,000 responses in a couple days. And so everyone who sent one back in, we mixed it all together into a huge chorus, and it sounds great.
Yeah, so if you submitted, you
were on it. You did it.
Thank you.
Number 4, Just Breathe. Where's this one come out?
Can you see that from here?
I can.
Wow. Okay.
Perfect eyesight. No.
My eyes are bad.
Just Breathe. Kind of a mashup of a bunch of different parts we had.
Yeah.
You had that weird bass line thing, and I chopped it up and started singing something over it.
Yeah, so I think the initial catalyst for the song was the bass line, which was like just some random bass line that I think I wrote when I picked up a bass for whatever reason. And then that slowly kind of transformed over several different versions into
and then like I had that arpeggio
the spazzy thing.
And the spazzy thing, and there's a couple other random parts where I was like, Teppei, here's this horrible demo of me just like playing a part really quick. Can you make sense of it and turn it into a song? So
Dustin had these phone recording kind of quick demos of, I think they were both electric guitars played acoustically or something. I don't know. It was really, really hard to decipher what was happening. We thought it sounded cool. We just couldn't really tell what was happening. So
Teppei figured it out.
I tried to. I don't know. At least that's my interpretation of what was happening.
Yeah, I think that song. If you've never heard No Knife, you should get into that band. We were talking about it the other day, but I think they have been one of the biggest, especially guitar influences on us, and a lot of those kind of weaving
guitar and bass.
Yeah, that's true. And a lot of the weaving together of parts on that song is very No Knifey. And then also that song, we had Emma Ruth Rundle, very talented singer, songwriter. She did some backing vocals on that super last minute. Right at the end of the record, I was singing that, and I was like, this would be really cool to have a gal sing on this and have this other voice come in. And so she was on a very short list of people that we asked, and she was able to do it and turn it around in like a day and send it back to us. So we're really excited about that. Yeah. Everything Belongs. This one started, I had that really simple, that melody on just me and like a guitar, and Riley had that other key file, and I kind of put those together.
Right. Yeah, so that main loop was a loop that Riley had.
Yeah.
That's right, I forgot about that.
Yeah, I think like a lot of like the little like loopy things we have is like Riley's stuff getting pulled into different contexts. But that song, it's just this loop, and originally it was in 8 timing or 4/4, however you want to say it, and it just felt, it was cool and it was pretty, but it was missing something, and I ended up kind of taking a chance and putting the whole thing in 7, and it just gave it a whole new life, and took off from there. But I don't know what else about that song.
I think for me that song really came together when we tracked it, recorded it for real. Because I mean, we had it demoed and it was pretty fleshed out, but I think
there's no real bass on the demo either, though.
Yeah, and a lot of that song is just kind of, it's a vibey song, and so the demo wasn't so vibey, and so I think it really clicked when we actually started recording it for me.
And I think John Conkleton's mix on that was really cool. Yeah. Just the way that he keeps stepping up the intensity as it goes. My Soul. This was built out of an Edward demo. Ed's like has the pieces sometimes of like some of our most kind of catchy songs, like Come All You Weary was like Ed's little guitar thing in the beginning. This one was, he had kind of both the the verse and the chorus roughly of this worked out. It was really quiet and sparse. I took a horrible stab at making a song, and then Teppei took a stab, kind of grizzly bear influence.
I think it was more beach
or
housey.
Beach housey, yeah.
That was kind of the. I was listening to, I guess probably at the time, what was the newest Beach House record, and there's just something about how they really do these big lush synths and whatever that I thought could work for the song, so I tried it.
And then Ed played. It's all upright bass.
Oh yeah, that's actually an interesting story. So yeah, we actually spent like a pretty good amount of time getting his bass tone and getting a good few bass takes or whatever. And then we had an upright bass in the studio, and we're like, well, why don't we just throw it down on the chorus? I think it'll sound cool. And we tracked that, and we're like, why don't we just take one pass and just record the whole song? And he literally took one pass at the whole song.
Oh, I didn't
that's
know.
what
That's right.
that's what ended up being. Like, we didn't even use the actual amped electric bass sound, but it's just all that acoustic bass. So that's
Yeah.
kinda cool. One
that's
take.
cool. Yeah.
Woohoo.
What's next? Branch in the River. Where'd this guy come from?
Edward.
Ed's. Yeah, the like really fast moving bass line is it's kind of an idea. It feels kind of Fugazi-ish, or it's got that kind of energy. Yeah, what else is going on with that? How do we end up combining those two parts?
I think weren't they always combined in his demo?
Maybe.
I think they were.
Oh, it was like there was like multiple parts, and it was kind of that last piece on there.
Yeah, we kind of weeded through what was happening and ended up choosing those two parts.
Yeah, lyrically, it's this, I mean, really kind of brief metaphor, but this idea of holding onto a branch in a river and fighting against the flow, having this fear of what's going to happen when you let go, and then realizing that letting go is really the thing that lets you be at peace, really, with what's happening in the changing world around you, and not trying to fight every little thing that comes along. Hold Up a Light. This went through like a ton of changes. It was really, really slow originally.
Yeah.
And that was just, we were kind of going with that, and it was, I mean, I think it was at like, this is nerdy stuff, but I think it was like at like 90
92 or 96
beats per minute, and then at one point it was up to like 154 or 150 or something. I think it came down to like 120 something, but somewhere in the middle. But yeah, it was this one where we felt like there was something cool there, but I don't know. Sometimes it was like one of those songs where you almost beat it to death, and then you finally figure it out.
It was real close to being beat to death. Really close, yeah.
Yeah. What else about that song? Yeah, it's. I really dig Ed's weird bass line on the third verse.
Oh, on the break.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I think the song gets a really new life at that point. I'd imagine that part almost more like, I don't know, like White Stripesy or something.
Yeah, that was like a guitar. We were trying to figure out some stuff to do in the chorus, and that was actually something that Ed had come up with, but he was suggesting it as a guitar part. We tried it, and it didn't sound super cool on guitar. But yeah, I don't know whose idea it was, but we tried it on that bridge kind of break part, and
Yeah, the weird drum sound there is cool.
yeah, I think it's one of my more favorite moments of that song.
What do we got? Blood on Blood. This song went through many phases as well.
Did it?
Yeah, because remember it started with your like the plucky breaky idea that was major.
Oh, right. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So this song, we liked a lot of things happening in it, but we were really missing kind of the way forward.
Well, so it started with a demo that I had done, which was just me on an acoustic, and I was plucking these things, and it was a lot. It wasn't necessarily happier, but it was more major chords that were happening.
It was an interesting feel, but it wasn't as dark at all.
Yeah. And
we were
trying to run with that for a long time.
And then we were tracking drums, and I was working on lyrics in the room. Teppei was kind of trying to revisit some stuff, and somehow we started trying it in a minor key and came up with that new chord progression, and it just took on kind of a whole new life. The melody, it's the same melody actually over the minor version, but it just had a lot more weight to it.
So that was like a huge shift in the song, like really late in the game, because we were tracking the drums for it.
Yeah. And then what else? So then obviously the bridge is really interesting. Kind of goes into this weird dreamy break. There's a harp, and I really like it. I think even as you deal with the lyrics in the song, like this idea of like, where's the world we're dreaming of, and this part kind of breaks out from some of the starkness of the rest of the song and has this dreamy kind of vibe before it drops you back into maybe the reality of the rest of the song. Yeah.
Sound wise, I thought it was kind of cool that that part I came up with when I was messing around on the ukulele, just like
that bridge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sorry, the bridge. Yeah. And so I recorded it on this like little ukulele that my dad gave me, and demoed it. I didn't think we'd use it for anything, but ended up kind of fitting in the song. And when we actually recorded the song, I ended up using that same ukulele. So
yeah,
that's kind of neat.
Wait, where's Ed's? Oh, that song has Ed playing some bass clarinet in the in the bridge.
Yeah, that's bass clarinet,
which sounds nice. You can hear it a lot, like when it drops back into the pre-verse. Super low.
As Ed's Eric Dolphy influence.
And if you're trying to play along on your bass clarinet, all like two of you, don't be discouraged because you can't hit the last note. It's we had to like digitally drop it because the bass clarinet won't go to that note, but we really needed it to. So we just had him play it a half step up.
Oh, that sounded awesome.
And it sounded incredibly awful until we fixed it, but it was good. All right, last song, Beyond the Pines. This came from a demo that I had. I was just playing on my baritone guitar. I had some, a little bit of delay and chorus on it, and it was just started playing in 5. We ended up writing in weird time signatures and not really realizing it just because we're so used to playing them now. But I just started tracking myself and had this probably 10-minute track of me playing these parts, or at least like the foundations of them. I really liked it, but wasn't sure what everyone was going to think about it. But everyone seemed to hear the same thing, that there was something cool there worth pursuing. I don't know what, I really like the song. I think it's maybe my favorite lyrically on the whole record. It's based off a line from a Rumi poem called The Great Wagon. It just kind of expands that outward. What else is happening? It's pretty simple, but
yeah, it's very simple.
I really like the end, like the sound bed at the very end.
Yeah, that was cool.
We were tracking, and I was just trying to get like the last note to kind of hang off, and it just started going somewhere, and I kept playing with the pedal, and we were just kind of, it's one of those moments in the studio where like kind of looking at each other like, this is cool, and just
keep rolling,
seeing what happens. So I really love it at the end of the record, letting that space kind of be there to reflect on. We were just talking the other day about how Radio Lab is a cool podcast, and they'll sometimes do something where they're talking about something really heavy, and they'll just let you kind of sit in silence, where there's really kind of just a low sound bed in it. I don't know. I don't think we have enough of those spaces in our lives, so it's kind of a cool space to sit and reflect and just be.
Yeah.
That's it. All 10 songs coming at you.